in a quiet town nestled along a gentle river, where old Victorian houses still stand with their wraparound porches glowing faintly under street lamps, lived a young woman named Emily. She was about 24 years old. By day, she worked in the local library, surrounded by the soft rustle of turning pages, the faint scent of aged paper and polished wood, and the occasional whisper of someone sharing a favorite story. It was a comforting place, but at the end of each day, Emily felt a quiet longing she couldn't quite name, like a half-forgotten melody playing in the back of her mind. At night, when the world grew still, she would climb the narrow stairs to the rooftop deck of her home. There, wrapped in a soft blanket, she sat under the vast sky, gazing upward at the stars. They seemed so far away, yet close enough to feel like old friends waiting patiently. On those evenings, Emily often wondered if somewhere in the universe, an unfinished dream was still waiting for her childhood wish she had tucked away long ago, like a bookmark left in a story she never finished reading. One particular moonlit night, the full moon hung low and bright, bathing everything in a gentle silver light. The air was warm and carried the sweet, delicate scent of blooming night jasmine from the garden below. Emily had brought up an old book she'd discovered weeks earlier, hidden in the dusty corner of her grandmother's attic. Its leather cover was worn soft from years of loving hands, and the title, embossed in faded gold, read "The Kingdom of Stars." This was the very book her grandmother used to read from when Emily was small, her voice low and soothing, turning simple words into magic. Emily settled into her chair, opened the cover slowly, and turned the first page. As the paper brushed her fingers, a gentle warm glow spilled out like moonlight trapped inside the pages. A soft voice, barely louder than a breeze, whispered through the night air, "If you are ready, begin the journey." She closed her eyes, letting the words sink in. In that quiet moment, the world around her softened. She felt a gentle lift, as if the rooftop itself had become weightless. When she opened her eyes again, she was no longer sitting on the deck. She was seated on a magical carpet, soft and woven with threads that shimmered like stardust gliding silently through the cool night air. The carpet carried her away from the town, over the sleeping river that reflected the moon like a silver ribbon, past rolling hills covered in wildflowers that swayed as if nodding goodnight, and higher still toward distant mountains. The wind was kind, brushing her hair lightly, carrying only the faintest scent of pine and fresh earth. Below, the world looked peaceful and small, wrapped in quiet darkness, broken only by occasional twinkles of house lights far away. Eventually, the carpet descended into a hidden valley cradled between the peaks. Here, time seemed to slow. Trees shimmered with glowing blossoms that opened and closed like tiny lanterns breathing in rhythm. Fireflies drifted lazily, tracing soft golden paths through the air. In the center of the valley lay a small, crystal-clear pond that mirrored the moon so perfectly it looked like a second sky resting on the earth. As Emily stepped onto the soft grass, she noticed a young man standing near the pond's edge. He was about her age, with calm eyes that reflected the stars. He wore simple clothes that blended with the night dark blues and silver sand. He held a small telescope loosely in one hand. This was Ethan, a stargazer who had lived in this valley for as long as the moon had watched over it. He spent his nights listening to the constellations, learning their quiet stories. When he saw Emily, a warm, gentle smile spread across his face. "You're the traveler who came from the book," he said softly, his voice like the rustle of leaves. "This valley only opens for those who are searching for their dreams. Not with loud calls or hurried steps, but with an open heart and quiet wonder." Ethan invited her to walk with him. They moved slowly along winding paths lined with luminous flowers that released a faint, soothing glow when brushed. He pointed out small wonders, a cluster of fireflies forming the shape of a heart, a deer that paused to watch them with kind eyes before slipping back into the shadows, and soft moss that felt like velvet underfoot. They came to rest beneath an ancient oak tree whose branches spread wide like protective arms. Beside it flowed a sparkling stream, its water clear and alive with tiny flecks of light. Ethan knelt by the water and said, "This is the stream of dreams. It doesn't rush or hurry. It simply flows, carrying the wishes we've hidden away in our hearts. Anyone who drinks from it begins to remember, and slowly, gently, those dreams start to come alive again." Emily leaned forward and cupped her hands. The water was cool and tasted faintly of starlight, clean, fresh, and somehow familiar. As she took a small sip, memories rose like bubbles to the surface. Lying on her back in the grass as a child, pointing at the sky and whispering to the stars that one day she would reach them, touch their light, and feel completely, truly alive. She remembered the feeling of wonder, the belief that anything was possible under that endless sky. They sat there for what felt like hours, though time didn't seem to matter. Ethan shared quiet stories of the stars, how some were born in distant nebulae, how others had watched over generations of dreamers just like her. He spoke without urgency, letting silences linger like comfortable pauses in a good conversation. Emily felt her shoulders relax, her breathing slow, the tightness in her chest unwind like a knot coming loose. As the night deepened and the moon began its slow arc across the sky, Ethan turned to her. "It's time to return," he said gently. "But remember, this valley isn't somewhere far away. It lives forever inside you. Whenever loneliness creeps in or the days feel too heavy, just sit under the moon, look up at the stars, and breathe. Know that you're never truly alone. The dreams you carried here are still with you, waiting patiently." Emily nodded, feeling a deep, quiet warmth settle in her heart. She closed her eyes once more. The carpet lifted her softly, carrying her back over the hills, the river, the sleeping town end, till she felt the familiar wooden deck beneath her again. When she opened her eyes, she was back on the rooftop. The book lay closed beside her. Its glow faded, but not gone. The moon still shone. The stars still twinkled, and the night air felt the same. Yet everything was different. But a peaceful certainty filled her. The valley was real. Ethan was real, and the dreams she'd rediscovered were hers to nurture. From that night on, Emily returned to the rooftop every clear evening. She no longer felt the ache of something missing. Instead, she smiled at the sky, sometimes whispering thanks to the stars. Knowing that somewhere in that hidden valley, Ethan was looking up to remembering her, just as she remembered him. And so, on moonlit nights, Emily's dreams quietly, gently began to come true. Not with dramatic magic or grand adventures, but with the softest kind of wonder, the comforting feeling that life is beautiful, that dreams never truly fade, and that peace is always waiting, as close as the next deep breath. Now, dear listener, close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath in. Hold it for a moment and let it out gently. Feel the weight of the day slip away like moonlight on water. Let the stars watch over you, drift peacefully into sleep.